ya la la la, ya la, ya la, ya la, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לה יאללה לה 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 לה.
Thanks, Tammy. What a beautiful start to our sitting together as friends for this evening's Daily Daven. Welcome, everybody, and Erev Tov. I'm going to do a bit of a show and tell this evening. I hope you'll bear with me, because I really want to talk about the latest edition of Gesher. This is it. Gesher is not our bridge to prayer service on the second Shabbat of the month. Make a note of that too. But it is the annual magazine or journal that is brought out by the Council of Christians and Jews in Melbourne. And this edition is magnificent. It really has some beautiful articles, very accessible. It's got plenty in it, and it should be delivered to TBI in the next weeks, and you should be able to take a free copy. So do look out for it. I wanted to start by showing you a painting by our very own Maureen Barton. Oh, I don't know which way up it goes, maybe that way. It's a painting. It looks like roses. It's a very richly colored painting by Maureen, who's the, I think she's the vice president of the PJV. And she used to be the president of Eitz Chaim. So she's been in prominent positions in our movement. And she talks about this painting that she painted. She often posts them on social media. And she got some wonderful responses, and I want to read you the one that she liked the best. It was a comment that said as follows: hope, love, vitality. Those are the three words that come to mind when I look at your painting. It's an awesome piece of art. Hope, because it's so bright and colourful, and that's how I want my life to be always. Love, because it's so beautiful. It reminds me of the beautiful people in my life that I love. Vitality, even though it's feminine and soft, there is an unfading strength characteristic to it. And I just felt that those words were so uplifting, as is the painting, which I'll show you just once more. It's such a joyful painting. And I thought it was an apt beginning to our evening service. We're on page 4, and Tammy will lead us in with the Baruch Hu.
Before we jump in, if you could just repeat, Sue, please, for Esther's just asking who prints the magazine. Would you mind just repeating who that was, please?
It's the Council of Christians and Jews, Victoria, Inc. I'm sure you can find their email address, and you could actually probably ask for one to be sent to you.
Lovely, thank you. So the Baruch Hu on page 4. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
And we turn to page 6. And if you'd like to read together with me or just listen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma potech sha'arim, uv'tfuna meshane itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'mesader et hakochavim b'mishmorotehem, b'rakia kirtzono. Bore yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערבים. And I just want to mention how beautiful it is that whose understanding changes times and seasons, and who arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. Blessed are you, Eternal One, who brings on the evening.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ata Amcha ata Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha, v'nizmach b'divrei toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki ehem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla, v'ahavatcha tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל, ואמרת עליהם, ועשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם, ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. And we're on page 14. אמת ואמונה כל זאת, וקיים עלינו כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. And I'd like to share with you a little bit more from Gesher. And it's taken from an article by Rabbi Jacqueline Nino from Sydney. And she's talking about hope. Everybody in this magazine is talking about hope, which is really wonderful and very uplifting. And the first piece I want to read you is this. When Jacob asks God's name, that's when I think he's struggling with the angel or the messenger. God replies, Ehyeh asher ehyeh, I am what I will become. And, says Jackie, we too are what we can become, and what we can become is what we can see and imagine. Hope is not passive. We cannot sit and wait for that future to unfold. It will only happen when we can dream it, see it, and then take action here in this real, messy, imperfect world. It's pretty good, huh? And another thing she talks about is something I want to add in there. She says, and it is hard in the real world, but if we walk together, we can dream and hope and become. Rabbi Daniel Pressman says that when we walk along that narrow bridge, Gesher Tzar, together, the bridge widens for us to walk side by side. Instead of our fear separating us, our hope can bring us together, and hand in hand, we can go on the journey, guided by a vision of the world as we want it to be. And we carry on, it's perfect, with Micha Mocha.
Hand in hand, singing together, Micha Mocha. Yes. Page 16, beautiful segue. מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורתי לא תוסף אלה, נורתי לא תוסף אלה, מלכותך רהו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי אנו ואמרו, אדוני אלוך לעולם ועד, ים בא ביפידי בם, ים בא bim bam, yam ba ba bi bi bam, yam ba ba bim bam, ya na ya ba ba bim bam, ya na ya ba bim bam. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We continue on page 18 with Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'hamidenu malkeinu le'chayim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us with wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'ha'amideinu malkeinu l'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkiveinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, ve'amideinu malkeinu l'chaim.
Lovely. And with that blessing of protection, we turn to page 20 for the Chatzi Kaddish. Thank you, Tammy.
Yitkadal ve'yitkadash meraba, amen. Ve'alma divrach yiruteh, ve'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayachon v'yomechon, v'chayirchol Beit Yisrael, ba'akalna, u'bizman kariv, ve'imru, amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevorach, ve'alam lamei amaya yitbarach, yitbarach v'ishtabach, v'yitbarach v'yitramam, v'yitnaseh v'yitahada v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'elam min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran me'alma, ve'imru, amen.
We turn to page 74 in preparation for the standing prayer, the tefillah. But I wanted to read you a final snippet from Gesher. And this comes from an article by Stephanie Dowrick, who you may have heard of. She's a prolific writer. She writes a lot about gender issues. She also, I think, is an interfaith minister. She's quite a spiritual writer. And in this edition, she has, I think it's come from somewhere else, but it's written up here as well. She's written up an interview that she had with our Senior Australian of the Year, who is an Indigenous woman, an Aboriginal woman called Miriam Rose, or Dr. Anganmar Bauman. She's a very powerful person in her. She's very educated, and she has a powerful way with words. She's known to have said, she's on record as saying, the act of learning in Indigenous societies is all about waiting and listening, not asking questions, which I think is not a very Jewish approach. But it's a very important approach. And I remember some years ago, we had an Aboriginal learning circle at TBI. And we had a session with an elder from the Aboriginal community. I've forgotten his name, Berg. I've forgotten his first name. Wonderful man. He married into the Greenberg family, which people probably now won't remember and won't know about. But he's alive and well and a really amazing man. And he also said that to us once. We asked him, what can we do to make moves towards the Aboriginal community locally? And he said, it's for you to find out. He said, don't ask questions. You just need to find out. Which I found at the time very difficult and very puzzling. And I'm just going to read you another little quote from this article, which you should read. It's interesting. She says, everybody has it. You have it. We all have it. It's just that you haven't been given the opportunity to discover it. So we lead in, Tammy is going to lead us into the Amidah, the standing prayer, which of course you may stand for if you wish. And we'll gather together after the first 3 paragraphs on page 100 for Oseh Shalom. Good. Thank you, Tammy.
Adonai, sefatai tiftahu fi, yakitei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר משיח ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיים מתים אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומרעיד הגשם, מזריח השמש ומוריד הטל, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך מתמחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל HaKadosh.
We continue in silence, either turning to the words on the page or the words in your heart.
Oseh Shalom Bimrama, Hu Yaseh Shalom Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, El Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, El Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, El Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Kol Yeshvei Tevel. Ve'imru Amen. And we turn for the Aleinu, our final prayers, to page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, תתקן לה יוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for a blessing. And we remember 3 people who've very recently died, who have been laid to rest this week. Barbara Banks, wife of Norman, mother of Laura and the late Stephen. Rena Fox, Leah Schoenfeld. And our sympathies go to the families. And those in the Shloshim, Paul Hall, Marika Marcus, Julia Scheinkestel, June Simmons, Peter Stiebel. And there are 3 yard sites of people being remembered tonight. Vera Silberberg, remembered by Sue Silberberg and her family. Irene Benjamin, remembered by Gordon Benjamin, her son, and remembered by members of this community who used to really enjoy her presence. She died, she was over 100 years old. And Regina Kay, niece of Adam Ryan and family, and sister of my good friend, Leah Kay. So we remember all of those people as we turn to page 598 for the mourners' Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ba'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lalmei al-maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'al v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal, shemei d'kudesha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Hamakom yenachem etchem b'toch sha'ar avlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May you be blessed and comforted among the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. Thank you so much, Tammy. It's a joy to do the service with you again. It's really lovely.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing bits and pieces of your learning and thinking and parts of Gesher. And I can see the chats in front of me, and Neil has kindly shared a link for how we can download the Gesher magazine off the CCJ website. So that was posted onto Facebook, and I've made sure that those who are watching also through YouTube can see that comment.
Well done.
So thank you.
That's fantastic. It's a really big journal. It's got a lot of pages, actually, over 100 pages.
Wow. Wonderful.
So for our final song, so we say to everybody, we hope that you can feel uplifted, feel the hope in your hearts. And we are a group together, supporting each other and taking that forward into our everyday lives.
So Sue asked me to choose a song for hope to end our service this evening, and my mind went to Gesher Tzar Me'od, which happened to then be one of the Jewish ideas that were mentioned in the articles that she read. So it was we seem to be on the same page. So if you'd like to join us on page 643, it's the second song down in the back of our Siddur. Kol haolam kulo gesher tzar me'od. The entire world is a narrow bridge, but the most important thing is not to be afraid. Kol haolam kulo gesher tzar me'od. Gesher tzar me'od. Gesher tzar me'od. Kol haolam kulo gesher tzar me'od. Gesher tzar me'od. V'hayika lo lefachet klal lechayika. V'hayika lo lefachet klal.